So excellent. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Karen, again for holding the space. Thank you all for joining in as well. Welcome to those of you who are new. As you know, this is the Monday Night Gospel Hour. I am I'm your host, Reverend Lama Rod Owens. Anyway, this is Medicine Buddha. Thank you so much for being here. Just a reminder, as we get started, the prayer request, if you'd like to add a prayer request, please do that now. If you have anything, it's not, of course, it's not imperative that you do so or required, but just in case. Yeah, welcome back to those of you who are always here as well. And yeah, so much is happening, so much is going on. I want to thank those of you who joined me yesterday, last night, or yesterday afternoon, or morning, actually. It was yesterday morning at the Atlanta Zen Center. So some of you came out. That was fun. We had a blast with the Soto Zen practitioners. And yeah, really, really good experience as well. So as always, there's so much I want to kind of talk about and lead us into, but I'm still really well, I want to actually back to one of the opening songs. Of course, Aretha Franklin was both of those. The second song, God Will Take Care of You. This is from her album, her gospel album, Amazing Grace, which is incredible. God will take care of you. You know, when I was listening to that, I was having my own moment, because I decided to play that at the spur of the moment, right? So I hadn't planned to play that, but as I was playing it, listening to it, just this teaching came back, right? The teaching that we've been working with often, which is the experience of care, the experience opening to the care, the love, the support, the protection of the deity. God will take care of me. Right. And for me, that teaching is so deeply rooted in my ancestry, in my community. That's the core of Black liberation struggle, in this country. That God is on our side. God is always on the side of the most suppressed, right? That if we trust, right? We've been talking about trust and devotion a lot. If we have the trust opens to this deep devotion. The deep devotion is just an attunement to the true nature, the essence of everything, emptiness, space, energy, right? But that convergence of these experiences really being felt as the most profound love, right? And that's what gets missing, unfortunately, right? Is the love, right? Not of course, not the restrictive love, not the conditional love that, we always talk about, but the love that just is, right? And so many of us struggle to connect to that experience of love. Like when I think about God, I think about love and space and energy, right? That's how I have returned back to God, is through this practice, is through Buddhism, actually helping me to connect to what love actually is, not the shit that I grew up with, and not the shit that gets hurled at us every day, but real love, the love that says, come as you are, right? The love that says, hold space for everything, right? The self-love that really begins as this deep, profound acceptance of who we are in this moment, right? So when we talk about, or when Aretha sings, God will take care of you, God is taking care of you, right? And we have to understand how that care is happening and surrender to it. Like surrender to God, which is the same thing as saying surrender to your Buddha nature, surrender to the true nature of all phenomena, right? That is the love that we're talking about, that surrendering that allows us to return back to this profound, non-expectational kind of holding where we can begin to be. And when you're allowing yourselves to be, when you're holding yourself without judgment, without reactivity, then you begin to understand what freedom and liberation look like. And then you begin to understand what it doesn't look like. So when we talk about divesting and investing, right? Divesting from the things that keep us free, reinvesting in the things that do help us to get free. What we can't get to that kind of discernment until we hold space for ourselves to allow everything, right? Both the great stuff, the joy, the fantastic stuff, as well as the not so great stuff, as well as our violence, as well as our sadness and sorrow must be held with all the things that we love about ourselves naturally, right? And then once everything is held together, then you begin to choose. Which is a response, you begin to choose to what needs to be divested from. Let's divest from the hates. Let's start pulling that energy from hate and from aversion and from like critiques and criticism and anger. Let's start pulling that energy away and start actually reinvesting that energy in what actually helps us to expand even more, right? That helps us to reduce the harm and the violence that, as we were talking about, I think last week, that actually helps us to become the medicine, not the problem, right? Love is what helps us to become the medicine. Love is the medicine. Love is, I would say, the ultimate medicine. To become the medicine, we have to open up into this love. And when we open up into this profound love, then we are being cared for. Like God is taking care of us, or the mother is taking care of us, right? However this fits for you, Tara is taking care of us, right? Medicine Buddha. And this practice is taking care of us. However, Medicine Buddha is just this experience that channels all the love of all the Buddhas, all the deities together, right? When we open to Medicine Buddha, we open to all the Buddhas. When we open to all the Buddhas, we open to love, period. So when we think about the first mantra that we often do, Om Namah Sangye Kino, Soha, right? Medicine Buddha, please look upon me, gaze upon me, think of me. You know, I always interpret Kino in many different ways, right? But the gist of it is, Medicine Buddha, please take care of me. This is the prayer that lies at the heart of activating this practice and this tradition. Like if you want to to get healed, you have to choose the healing. And choosing that healing means that we're choosing the care that we need to experience balance. You have to choose this at some point. Right? Again, like I always say, you have to choose freedom too. Like it's the same choice, right? To get healed is to get free is to be healed, right? But so many people, again, are afraid of making these choices because you've made a home in the suffering, you've made a home in the imbalance, and you think that's who you are, right? And then to choose something different means that you have to let go of who you think you are. And that's a choice that so many of us are terrified to make because we don't know what's next. We don't know what this choice means. We don't know where this choice is going to take us, but we know what the suffering in this moment feels like. And that feels more dependable. And that's how trauma works as well. Trauma just becomes very dependable for us. It's steady, it's predictable, it's there, right? That is an expression of a deeper trauma of never feeling as if we had anyone or anything to take refuge in, to rely on, to feel safe with, you know. So if nothing else is going to take care of me, then I'm going to ask my trauma to take care of me because at least it shows up. You know, yeah, it keeps showing up, right? Over and over and over again. It's the visitor, the guest that won't ever leave the house, right? And you get used to it. It's predictable. We find safety and comfort in predictability, even though that predictability is just another expression of pain and suffering. At least I get that. And I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to someone, with this, right? I'm not talking to myself. I fucking get it. Like I already listen, I get it. You don't have to preach to me about this shit, but some of you need to hear this, right? You have to choose something other than the trauma. The trauma doesn't love us. But some of us think that the trauma is loving us through its consistency. That's painful for me. That's heartbreaking. And this is not an exaggeration. You all know this is like we know people, right? We know people who would rather choose the suffering than the freedom because they know what the suffering is and what it feels like. And they don't understand what this freedom is, nor do they believe that freedom is actually possible. Right? That's when carcerality has really got us, when it's conditioned us to say, you know what, there's no fucking place to go except for here. This is why so much of our energy, so much of our work sometimes has to go into actually just getting to the point of saying, I am ready to get the fuck out of here. I am ready to get out of this trauma into the space, into the light, into back to God, back to the Buddha, back to my true nature, my Buddha nature. Got to get somewhere that's not here. Right? In the same way, again, Harriet Tubman said, you know what, it's time for me to leave. It's time for me to get the hell out of here. Right? To leave suffering, to leave carcerality, to leave the plantation. It is probably the most important decision that we will make, to leave the ways in which we have been trapped and backed into a corner, and to get to that point and saying no, no more. It's got to be something better than this shit. And collectively, I think that we are experiencing this too. Like, I think people collectively are saying, you know what, it's got to be something better than these systems that we're living in. It's got to be something else. Right? the way that some of our ancestors, as well as some of us in our present life, have struggled and fought and organized and acted up. We've worked so hard, you know, we should be free by now, politically, socially, relative, there should be freedom by now. But what's being called for is a different kind of activism, a different kind of organizing, right? And that different kind of organizing really means that we have to choose something different now, even if we think we're going to lose everything. Those, frankly, are the most exciting kinds of choices. You just put everything on the table, right? All or nothing, let's do it. That's how daring you have to get in your practices, all or nothing. There's no more going back, no more going back to these sites of violence and harm and trauma and despair and hopelessness. No more going back to that because it feels safe, it feels familiar. Let's actually move forward now. Let's choose what feels unknown. And in doing so, let's develop this trust that we will be cared for. Because when you choose freedom, the universe opens up, right? Because you're finally living in alignment with the universe. The universe wants us to be free because that's the truth. Freedom, liberation is the truth. When we're not choosing freedom, we're living counterintuitively to the universe, to the nature of things. When we live counterintuitively, that creates a tension that gives rise as samsara, like the carceral state, as I call it in the New Saints, right? When we're not choosing freedom, this is what we get. Is this experience of tension, right? And discombobulation and unsettledness, right? That we normalize and call it reality, right? And call it life and living. And then we have to do the work to disrupt that normalization. And you will lose a lot. I talk about this all the time. When you choose freedom, you will lose shit. But look at what you will gain, right? As a result, you will remember what you are. Now, this is a message I'm gonna keep drilling in over and over and over again for the rest of our lives. It's gonna have to keep being the case, right? Like this is what teachers are supposed to do. We're supposed to keep reminding us, or I'm supposed to keep reminding us that, the point is to get free, not to get comfortable, right? And if you're with teachers who are just like, just get comfortable, we're not trying to get free, honey, you're in danger. You are in danger, right? So anyway, let's get into practice. So again, right, always checking in with our bodies, coming into a position that feels good for our practice. Just noticing the seat rising to hold you, weight of your body, So again, I just want to come back to the work that we've been doing for the past couple of sessions, the pointing out, right? And I hope that you're beginning to incorporate these practices into your daily work as well, right? The pointing out. And again, what we're trying to do is notice or attune into the nature, to the essence of phenomena, the emptiness, the space, the energy, which is extremely subtle, right? And this is why we train and practice so much with this. And what we're really doing now is it's just kind of getting ourselves oriented, like getting ourselves pointed in the direction. I guess we could say that, pointed in the direction of the essence, right? But it's not about directions, it's not about moving or leaning. It's about remembering in this moment that we are already free and that we are experiences arising within boundless space, emptiness, and our minds are just energy that's aware. And awareness itself, I mean, what is your experience of awareness? What does it mean to be aware, to know? And if it's helpful, it doesn't mean that we have everything figured out. We don't, this isn't about, this isn't a puzzle that we're trying to work through. We're not trying to unlock anything or assemble anything. The first work here is essentially resting, letting awareness be, letting awareness on one hand hold all phenomena that arises. And then secondly, at some point down the line, maybe not in this session, the experience of awareness permeating all phenomena, that all phenomena is actually also this expression of my awareness, this knowingness. And it's not mine because again, mine or I tends to, solidify a sense of self, autonomy. This is not what we're doing. We're actually trying to disperse awareness away from this cluster of perception and sensations that we label I. So when we talk about resting and relaxing, what we're actually talking about is expanding back our awareness, releasing and expanding back into the boundlessness of phenomenal reality. And then slowly beginning to tune into the nature of this boundless phenomena, just emptiness and space. And as we were practicing last week, even, doing a body scan and just beginning to notice, right, where the tension, where the holding is, and releasing that, releasing that tension through maybe the breath, if that feels accessible for you. Inhaling through the nose into that energy, dissolving it, releasing it out of the mouth. Just a few more moments here. So what we're trying to practice now is what we would call Shanae or calm abiding. And of course, that practice is allowing, right? Not necessarily focusing on things, but just allowing. And again, for any kind of mudra or somatic hand gesture work, right? This is why mudras are really quite powerful in our practice, is that they can help to encourage something mentally or spiritually for us. So when I talk about calm abiding or just allowing, what I'm talking about is this kind of opening of the tightness of, I would say, over concentration or fixation, right? Relaxing that, opening, and allowing awareness to actually expand, open, blossom. You can actually do this, right? This is helping us to kind of train in this expansion, this openness of awareness itself. Of course, this is what I call the lotus mudra. We have done this in the past, where it's like we can imagine ourselves as flowers, as closed flowers, and imagining how we open and bloom or blossom. And that is trying to, of course, kind of trigger this experience of openness, expansion, relaxing. And I feel that openness, happening throughout my body, particularly the heart chakra, right? That's this opening. And again, we feel really tight or shut down because we've trained ourselves to shut down in order to survive, in order to protect ourselves as we move through the world. And what we're trying to do is release that, come into this sense of safety, at least in this moment in our practice, and just allowing the phenomenal world to be, right? Because this is the door into this love. It's first allowance or telling the truth about what's happening. But as we open and tell the truth, we have to process and experience really the brokenheartedness that keeps many of us from actually opening to begin with. And feeling the grief come into focus, and the rage and the fear. Even now, just allowing those experiences to rise, and you don't have to do anything to it or for it. You just allowing it to be is this deep expression of love for all these parts of our experiences that we often struggle with. And over time, as we attune more and more to the essence, the true nature of things, then the intensity of uncomfortable experiences actually will soften, right? Because you're beginning to intuitively connect to its real expression, which is emptiness. So you can move through and process really deep pain, but with this knowingness that this pain is also arising from emptiness and space and energy. Like everything, including the Buddhists, all arise from the same essence. Everything, including our minds and bodies. And this is the opposite of bypassing, right? Or erasing. This is going into the things that we habitually avoid. And if you are experiencing, you know, any energy, particularly around the heart chakra, right? And anxiety, right? Physically can manifest for some of us as, just a quicker heartbeat, like tightness, tension, upper chest. And if that's something that you're experiencing, again, as we often do, we bring your palm, your hand up to your heart center. And again, I like to imagine so many things when I do this kind of laying on of the hands, as we've talked about in the past. But for me, I guess in this moment, what I'm imagining is that the hands of all of my benevolent ancestors, all of my ancestors who want me to be free, who are loving me, who are trying to love me out of my suffering and my incarceration, those ancestors all are holding me through my hand, which is actually quite possible to do in ancestor practice. So all the hands of all the ancestors who love me are coming together, holding me through my physical hand. And that energy begins to stabilize me. It feels grounding. It's another channel of love that's very much accessible for all of us through practice. Or it's the hand of Medicine Buddha holding us. But wherever we feel the tension, the tightness, the struggle, bring your hand or a hand to it. Lay hands on your body in a way that feels kind and gentle and healing, in a way that is supported by all the beings who love us, all the ancestors, all the Buddhas, so forth. and allow this holding to reconnect us to the earth. Feeling not just the seat rise to hold us, but also the earth, expressed or thought of as the mother, as another awakened being, trying to get us free. And if you're working with your breath, continue with the breath. Use the breath to continue to move energy through both your mind and physical body, as well as your energy body as well. Feeling the earth rise to hold you, feeling the grounding, right, at your heart center with your hand, feeling the weight of your body in the seat under you. Letting whatever arise, knowing that when none of this is working, take a break, right? Come back into your own practices of self-regulation. If you need to, just somehow get on the floor, which is often very helpful for me when I'm moving energy like this, just lying on the floor, touching the earth, touching the floor as an expression of the earth, feeling that groundedness, the stability. Come out where we're very high. Like we're very high. We're very not we maybe disembodied, but like just more so our energy is really high and we have to shift it back down to the earth. We have to come back home. We have to get grounded again. Essentially, this is what we're doing. Just the coming back home to the earth. And the more we're moving through these practices, the more we begin to be cared for. Like this is, at least in our practice this evening, this is how we're opening the door to care, the care of the deity, the care of Medicine Buddha, who again represents all the beings in this universe who wants us to be free from suffering and to remember what we are. Medicine Buddha can take care of me. And so as we move into the first mantra again, Omen Lasang and Kino Soha, in your minds, I invite you to interpret the mantra as Medicine Buddha, please take care of me. Medicine Buddha, please take care of me. So Kino will be interpreted as take care. Medicine Buddha, please take care of me. Surrendering deeper and deeper to that, surrendering to the earth, expanding outward, feeling the groundedness of all the beings through the palm of our hands. Feeling the pressure on our heart centers, grounding that energy, connecting us deeper to the earth. We turn our attention to the mantra beginning with Then reciting the mantra 3 times and then ending with as we always do. Taking a breath. Om. Om la sange ki no so Om la sange ki no so Om la sange ki no so Om. And just noticing any shifts or any change in your practice. Returning back to everything that we've been offering in our practice, the seat, the earth, the breath, expansion, spaciousness, whatever feels as if it is tending to you right now, go be with that part of the practice. And we begin to shift our attention to the main mantra, Teata, Om Bekenze, Maha Bekenze, Rasa Sumungate Soha. And in our mantra practice with Medicine Buddha's main mantra, I want you to, as you're chanting the mantra, think to yourself as an inner mantra, I guess. We say to ourselves, Medicine Buddha is taking care of me. Medicine Buddha is taking care of me. So as we chant, you're thinking and chanting to yourself over and over again, Medicine Buddha is taking care of me. And maybe if you're not at that level of confidence, you can also alternatively say, Medicine Buddha, please take care of me. That feels like more of an entrance into this. But I really want to encourage all of you to think Medicine Buddha is taking care of me. That confidence, right, is taking care of me, because the Medicine Buddha is. So what would it be like just to practice in that confidence? Medicine Buddha is taking care of me. And allowing yourself to go on a journey, right? Where is this practice taking us? What work is it showing us for us to do? Just noticing what comes up for you, right? And we'll begin with the mantra, then take a break for prayer requests, then come back and finish the mantra, right? O se ya begenze ma Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Benze abenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Benze abenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze a begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze a begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze Razu sungate soha Te anda umbenze Begenze ma begenze just turning my attention to the prayer requests, and again, just greeting and calling into the space all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all the Dharma protectors, all beings of light, all the protectors and guardians of the lands that we are all living on, calling in the support of all of our benevolent ancestors, right? Calling in all the love and care and support from all over the universe to take the form of however it needs to take form for us in this moment, so that we can experience the deepest, profound care and support. And we're offering prayers for my friend Sarah, who is hoping to get a job and be lifted out of poverty. Offering prayers for the people of the Ukraine, especially after the horrific bombing of a children's hospital yesterday. Offering prayers for the family of Linzel Zell P., a young man who died by police action 2 weeks ago here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. For our city, healing and justice. Offering prayers for my 21-year-old son, Lucas Lennon Santos Pai, who has stage 5 kidney disease and is in need of a kidney transplant. May we continue to experience the love of community during this difficult time and find ways to practice intentional reciprocity with our capacity when our capacity allows. Offering prayers to my beloved dog, who is now in the bardo. I have so much gratitude and love for her and for all the gifts she gave. With my physical therapist, Jim, who gave me back the use of my hands. Offering prayers for me, may I find the strength and draw on the resources available to open my heart again after a period of great suffering. May I be able to reconnect with my benevolent ancestors and find clarity to help me act with compassion and integrity in my relationship to self and others. Offering prayers for my family who are stuck in cycles of violence and addiction. May they experience greater support and spaciousness so they can make the choices they need to disrupt the cycle. May they be resourced and open-hearted always. May we all learn to trust in the basic goodness of living beings, including ourselves. May we learn to trust in God and in the earth. Offering prayers to Lama Rod and the Sangha to continue our work, find the support and love we need, and to get free for the highest good of all beings. May all beings be free. May all beings be at peace. Offering prayers for a new job that is aligned with my soul's work and meets my financial needs. Offering prayers for Sari to recover from her scooter accident. Offering prayers for my continued healing from chronic nerve pain. Offering prayers for my disabled teen daughter to get what she needs out of this period of shutdown, and that she starts to feel some bravery and appetite to get out of her robe, tend to her hygiene, and become excited about school this fall. Offering prayers of gratitude for all I have been given, especially my beloveds and the Sangha. Offering prayers that I find work that earns enough to remain in the house we are in now. Offering prayers that I discern good boundaries for my daughter and for myself, that I can see where her growth edge is and where she needs extra tenderness. Offering prayers to hold space for my own autism. Offering prayers for an end to genocide, ecocide, and human trafficking and all systems of oppression and power over others. Offering prayers that I can find a few galleries to show my paintings and artwork so I may diversify my income and retain my sanity. Offering prayers that all beings, including myself, see and love themselves, and the Divine One sees and loves us. Offering prayers for Haiti and the Congo. Offering prayers for my beloved cousin's travel tomorrow. Offering prayers for me as I navigate important next steps in my life. Offering prayers to my beloved guides, old and new. Offering prayers that COVID gets up out of my system swiftly and I can continue to be a vessel of love and healing for myself and those around me with renewed energy and vitality. Offering prayers to be held in deep care during the revelation of the many addictions my ex was hiding for so long. Offering prayers for liberation from gloom to all in need. Offering prayers for my friend Katie, who's struggling with complex trauma and navigating relationship transitions. Offering prayers for my queer youth clients who desperately need our support and love. Offering prayers for my newly reorganized partnership. May we continue to heal from our early childhood traumas and those we've inflicted on one another together. And offering prayers that he heal deeply and receive and revive his ability to parent his disabled teen who is feeling fully betrayed and wants nothing to do with him ever again. Offering prayers to my beloved wife and I as we navigate challenges together. May we keep compassion and our deep love for each other front and center. Offering prayers for our beloved cat Soup for his continued healing from his broken leg. Prayers for my beloved brother and his wife as she continues to fight cancer. Prayers for my beloved family as we navigate anxiety and depression. Prayers for my father and his safety as he ages at home. Offering prayers for an end to my sciatica pain so I can do the things that fill my heart. Prayers for a livelihood that feeds my soul. Prayers for all fighting authoritarianism. May we all be free. Offering prayers of protection for Kaya and for her job search. Offering prayers that I can continue to hold my 10-year-old self with tender, loving care as I heal deep wounds, allow myself to open to the grief and heartbreak, and move towards greater joy, love, and liberation. Offering prayers that might have a soft and open heart, and that I am held and loved by my guides through whatever may come. Offering prayers for my Aunt Jay, who was arrested again. May she find the support, resources, and community she needs to heal from her trauma and the end of cycle of violence encompassing her and the rest of the family. May she be celebrated for who she is rather than meet with the violence of a transphobic world. And may my grandma, my aunt's mom, release her attachment to transphobia and love my aunt unconditionally for who she is rather than wishing she wasn't trans. Offering prayers for the courage to continue on this path. Offering prayers for loosening my grip on what's comfortable to allow in what is brilliant, divine, and growth filled for my soul and right sized for my life. Offering prayers for Kayla that she gets the job of her dreams, one that sustains her with love and community. Offering prayers for my houseless neighbors who are navigating the heat wave. May they find respite, nourishment, and get access to the care and resources they deserve to be well. Offering prayers for me as I experience loneliness, anxiety, and deep depression. Offering prayers for my friend Elle, who is having one of the worst BPD flares they've experienced in years. May their loved ones be resourced so they may carry Elle towards balance again. Offering prayers for Lydia and her dad Edward as he continues out of surgery and they receive results from his biopsy. Offering prayers for myself that I lean on trust during the process of selling my house. Prayers for my ongoing cancer treatments. May I have grace with myself as I continue this journey. Prayers for my brother Michael and my friend Richard. May they experience healing and freedom. Offering prayers for me and my family and my ancestral lineage. Offering prayers that this blossom of joy continues to grow. Prayers that my partner feels ease. Prayers to surrender to my current transformation, to release what no longer serves me and move with ease into a right relationship with my true life, my highest self. Offering prayers for healing for Nellie from cancer. Offering prayers for me to have a humble heart and be receptive to the healing that is possible through honoring the spirits of land and place and listening to the ancient ancestors and receiving their care. Offering prayers that I may surrender to everything that arises through being. May I relax into everything as a way of being and remembering space. May I trust that I will be protected with each breath and moment in between. May this experience make clear to me where I am being called and what I must do to be free and help everything get free. And may I surrender and heed the call. Prayers for all I'm chanting for. Prayers to get free. Offering prayers for my dear friend facing housing challenges in Toronto. May they be able to move soon and with much ease to a new, affordable, comfortable place. And prayers also for my dear friend who lost his beloved dog companion in California. Offering prayers for the people of Gaza dying and starving and in desperate need for this horrible war to end. Prayers for everyone suffering with them as we witness the ongoing nightmare. Prayers that I find the courage to open, pray, and practice when completely gripped and overwhelmed by fear in the present, which triggers old terrors from the past. Remember that I am loved and share this difficulty with countless others. May we all feel loved and connected to the ancestors and to each other. Prayers for Gaza and prayers for relationships with my dad. Prayers for my son to do well in his job interview on Thursday. May he remember who he is and make a good choice. Prayers for all friends, family, and others struggling at this time. Prayers for myself for clarity. Prayers for A, may their mental health improve. Prayers for myself as I undergo a huge life transition and move. And may all those attempting to fully live into a new, freer self experience courage and ease. Prayers for Em, may she receive all the money she needs to evacuate from Gaza. Prayers for Marissa, Haran, and Sofia Ordez as they are in transition in the Bardo. Offering prayers for the Wild family facing health crisis. And we continue to offer prayers for all beings transitioning into the Bardo, as well as all beings transitioning into this realm. May their transition be easeful. May they be freed no matter which direction they are transitioning into. We continue to offer prayers for David. We also continue to offer prayers for Sanaa as well. We continue to offer prayers for all beings who are struggling to experience wellness and care. We pray for all systems of violence and dominance to be abolished. May we survive and thrive into a liberated future where we all have access to what we need to be safe, well, happy, and healed. And may we all eventually, no matter who or what we are, may we all get free as quickly as possible. May it be so. And turning our attention back to just a few moments to a few minutes of mantra work. And in this last stage of our mantra, I invite you to imagine that the essence, the nature of all phenomena, and wherever or however deep you've been called into this experience, I want you to imagine that you begin to be immersed, wrapped in this experience of the essence. And let this essence become also an expression of the most profound awakened care for you and all those you're practicing for. And may this experience become the root, the heart, the foundation of a deep, profound sense of protection in this moment for you, for your beloveds, and for all beings. And we return back to the mantra. O teyan taum begenze ma begenze rasusum gatisua teraraum begenze ma begenze rasusum gatisua teraraum begenze ma begenze rasusum gatisua Teada begenze ma begenze rasusumugarizua Teada begenze ma begenze rasusumugarizua begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa, te asa, begenze, begenze, ma begenze, lasse sumangane soa. And if you're working with the breath, inhale with me. Just inhale, take a really deep inhale through the nose. And once you get filled, hold that breath in the gut, diaphragm, for just a couple of moments. And just release through the mouth. We're going to do it 2 more times. And again, only if you're working with the breath. We're going to inhale through the nose, fill up, hold the breath. And then as we exhale, imagine that you're exhaling through every pore opening of your body, throughout your skin, your ears, your nostrils, everywhere. Okay? So let's inhale again. Hold. And release. And one more time, and again, as we inhale, right, holding a breath, and as we exhale out of the mouth, imagining that we're just releasing. So we're doing this to just move energy that feels stuck for us as we come to the end of our session. Okay, so one more time, inhaling deeply through the nose, hold, and release. And that's a practice that we can do if we feel like things are just like feel stuck. It can be a situation, it can be something personally in our own experience, but just like breathing into the situation and getting that energy moving and circulating can be really powerful as an antidote or medicine for getting things unstopped. Okay. So again, returning our attention to the seat, to the weight of your body, and the seat rising to hold you. And as we transition out of our session, I invite you just for the next couple of seconds to offer one last prayer. And you're going to offer this right into the emptiness, this emptiness being also an expression of Medicine Buddha, all the Buddhas, right? Offering this last prayer, a prayer, whatever prayer that you need to offer, the prayer that you didn't offer today, offer this prayer now. Okay. And so when you're ready, of course, reawakening your bodies through some simple movement. Right, and when you're ready, we'll turn our attention to Shantideva's prayer, which we'll recite 3 times. And we begin. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader of those for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space, and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space. All right, thank you all so much for your practice. I feel some really good practice happening with many of you. That feels good to feel. Um, and next week, next Monday, I haven't done this in a while, but I'm gonna open up a longer space for questions. So next week, if you have questions, go ahead and bring that. We'll have a session, a long session, not going over time. To do that since I haven't done that in a while. Just to remind you, for those of you who are members of the online community, we have our online gathering on Saturday. So bring questions there as well. Um, yeah, and just this last little story I'll share. Yesterday at the Zen Center, I was talking with and connecting to She may be in the space, so sorry. I'm not gonna mention your name. But, we had a conversation. She's also a medium, and we were just talking about the visions that we're getting. We had a really lovely dialogue, earlier in our session yesterday, just about the work that we're being called to do right now in this moment. But she says she shared something with me that in her download, she's just constantly being told to sing, right? Which for me, I felt that as instructions for us to be heard, to be seen, not to kind of disappear, but to actually begin to like make ourselves known, because it just feels like the side that doesn't want anyone to be free seems to be the loudest, but there is a new community of us, awakening. And this is a part of why I am so excited about this period, is that there are people waking up in ways with capacities and abilities that will bring about this extraordinary future, that's gonna, these capacities will help guide us through the storm, that we're moving through right now. And this is a storm. This is the work of decolonization, right? This is healing for us. Often with healing, there's pain, right? So those of us who are ready, we're being called upon to sing, and singing also healing, and just like being known, and expressing ourselves, which I found that to be so beautiful, as we were sharing that yesterday. And this new community of people, which I believe all of us are a part of, it's just a new kind of attunement. Like, it's not like, it's even beyond these same tired kind of progressive, kind of storylines that we like to tell. Like, it's something even more, magical. Like, I would say magic, like in the real sense, literal sense of the word magic. This remembrance that we have the capacity to shape the phenomenal world, to be free, not limited and rigid. So we're going to be using our magic to get fluid and to sing and to bring about these spaces and places of deep healing, and that's so it's a time of healing. You're being called into deep healing work. Again, not everyone's going to do the healing work, but enough of us will, right? And because not all of us are doing the healing work, yeah, we're going to have to take on a lot of work. We're healing ourselves and the collective, which makes the healing work, tough. Part of the healing is going back into our ancestry and doing the healing of our ancestors. We must do the healing of our ancestors, regardless of our ancestry, right? Everything must be healed. Everything must be free, right? That's the spiritual abolition, right? Everything has to get free. Every person, every being needs to get free, right? So I just wanted to share that and just offer deep gratitude to my new friends, at the Zen Center for a lovely afternoon yesterday, and for some of you coming to support me. Okay. Great. I'll see some of you Saturday and the rest of you hopefully next Monday. And also next week for a retreat up in Massachusetts. This is next week. Here we go again. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Be well.